Live from Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be reviewing the new film, A Happening of Monumental Proportions, Science Fair, and The Predator. With special guest film critics Dan Shaggy GB and Eric Holtzman. Randy will also be interviewing film score composer Brian Tyler of Crazy Rich Asians and Yellowstone. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, welcome to Unger the Radar, a very special edition. Every week is special, but it's even more special because I've got Mr. Eric Holtzman. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and Unger the Radar veteran, Mr. Dan Shaggy GB. How's it going, sir?
Well, other than thrashed voice, but I'm doing well.
What happened? What's going on?
Well, no, I had karaoke was last night.
Okay, of course.
Karaoke.
Yes.
Karaoke takes precedent on Saturdays.
Yes.
And I did probably the greatest and best performance of Dream On I've ever done in my entire time going, so I felt really, really good about it.
Oh my.
I'd like to have heard that.
Yep. It was so much fun.
I know you're a fan of Stout in Manhattan.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Famous watering hole in...
Yep, on West 133rd, West 33rd Street.
Yeah.
Right by Penn Station, so it's literally,
Yeah.
if you're really drunk, you need to run to the train, it's right there.
And every Saturday you'll see Dan belting out a few tunes.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Falling over when I get to the train and it's like, okay, cool, I'm done.
Nice. Are you a karaoke guy?
I am a singer.
Yeah. Good.
I have sang on air on this very station before.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So.
Right. Yeah, you've had a show here.
Yes, I had a show called Man Up.
Nice.
I had a show called Schadenfreude before that. And yeah, if you go to the Strong Island YouTube page and you type in my name, and you might catch a performance of mine from singing.
Really?
Cool. You'll definitely find shows, but you might find a couple
That's
of me singing too. So yeah.
I don't sing, but if I had to, I'm a big soundtrack guy. So yeah, Under the Sea from Little Mermaid is actually my go-to. I'm not ashamed of it because it's a great song.
Yeah.
You know.
That I want to hear.
Yeah. Maybe later today we'll see. So guys,
you go up there and do soundtrack work. Get off the stage.
Yeah, just instrumental, just like humming. Yeah. I love it. It's tempting. All right, guys. So we got 3 movies today. A little bit more than average, but it's a busy movie season right now.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, 2 of them are smaller films. We're going to save the big one for the end. But let's dive right into the first one, A Happening of Monumental Proportions. And it's basically an ensemble cast, comedy. You've got, who do you got here? Bradley Whitford, Allison Janney, Rob Riggle, Jennifer Gardner, John Cho, Katie Holmes, and Common leading the charge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's about a school, and there are 2 individuals who find a dead body, and basically throughout the whole day, which is career day, they try to get the police to come. They don't come. They're trying to hide it from the other teachers, the kids, and it's just a ridiculous comedy.
You keep moving it around.
Yeah. Dan, you want to start off?
Well, I hate to say it, even though it was that part was funny, I found it kind of boring because it was just like, okay, I don't care that that guy has so much work on his plate that he has to say like the worst way to describe it in the world. Like it was so boring. I completely.
Really? You didn't like the cast though, like the
interactions?
interactions?
I liked the cast. The interactions were cool, but it was kind of like, it's like, okay, this is one thing I actually thought of on the way here because I was like, you know what? That's kind of what stuck in my mind, and it always stuck in my mind. There's never been a time in my life that I ever wanted to punch a child. That kid that kept bullying the other kid. I literally, I'm like, I was like literally just gonna walk up, like be one of those times where I walk up to him. So you like stealing stuff?
Oh, with the glasses?
Yes.
Yeah, that kid. Yeah.
Punch him in the head. Movie's over for him.
I
never would punch a child. This is the only instant where.
Well, there's actually the second movie we're going to be reviewing. There's another kid who we both wanted to punch.
Yes.
But we'll get to that in a moment. What did you think of A Happening of Monumental Proportions?
Surprisingly, I enjoyed it. I wasn't sure when I started watching it the other day for a little bit. Then I stopped and I said I'm going to go back to it.
All right.
I had something come up and I went back to it. But I love the cast. The cast is great. Allison Janney is always incredible with everything she does.
And she was reunited with Bradley Whitford here.
Right, Bradley
of the
Whitford,
West Wing.
Right, and he was great.
Yeah, he's great in everything.
Yeah, he really was great. Rob Riggle is always, always a
so
fun
good.
guy to have, and even the kids were good.
Yeah.
The only one person I didn't like was Common. To me,
Really?
To me,
That's
Common,
funny.
He was very.
Because he was like, this is the first Common performance that I actually like enjoyed. Because I
felt
never
like-
liked his work before.
I felt like he was just he was bland. He
Yeah.
was very bland.
I think that was the point. You know, kind of this average Joe, kind of thrust into situations. Like, what the hell?
I didn't like. If the things that happened to him in the film, I would have had more of a reaction to.
Yeah.
He just seemed way too subdued for all these things that were happening.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
Jennifer Garner was great.
Yes.
She was incredible.
Yes.
Underused. By the
Yes,
way.
Yes.
definitely underused in the film, but she was incredible. But he, I don't want to go into it too much.
Yeah.
But what
spoilers.
happened
No
between those
spoilers.
two,
Yeah.
I would have been much more.
a little bit more worried.
Yes, I would have been much more worried.
Like, what the hell?
There is a surprise person at the end who's famous. I don't know if we want to bring that person
no,
up.
that's the ultimate spoiler. And I
Yeah.
know you have some words about him because you had you do cosplay with him.
Oh yeah.
As him, rather.
Yep. I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I know it's gonna
All
give
right.
it away straight away. But
Spoiler-free zone, guys.
I love
Yeah.
how the fact that it was like, oh hi,
Yeah.
oh.
The scene is incredible, though.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah.
incredible
Good
scene.
I honestly just wanted to say, good evening.
Right. Like if
And
they
just, like,
explored
stop
that
it that way.
relationship more, like him and him, yeah, I think that would have been a better movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
think-
it was entertaining.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It did keep it moved around a lot, but everything comes together at the end.
Right.
Kind of.
But it was,
kinda-
it was just missing something.
Technically, I think it would be kind of like that the whole thing between Common and
Him.
the mystery guest.
The mystery guest.
It
yes.
probably put more on the emphasis of what happens to them in the movie the other movie that they're in,
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
because they are in in the second one and they beat the living piss
Yeah,
out of each
people
other.
are watching right now like, what the hell are we talking about?
We're
There
not
is a part-
spoiling nothing.
No
there is a part
spoilers.
in
No
the film though where
spoilers.
he's on the phone. Where you hear his voice on the phone, and I didn't know at the
Sounded
time.
nothing
And I'm
like
sitting there, and
him.
I'm like, "Who is that?
Yeah,
Who is
yeah.
that?
It's
Who is
like
that?"
what's his name? It's like oh god, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder.
Nice.
When he's the Les.
Yes.
What the hell is?
He's the
Les
agent.
Goodman or
Les
something?
Goldman or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Whatever he was. But I had no idea that was Tom Cruise
Yeah.
until the end of the movie, and I'm looking at the credits, going, "Why is it?" I'm like, the whole movie, I'm going, "Why does it look like kind of look like Tom Cruise?" But it's not. It does definitely it's not because he doesn't sound like him. Or he doesn't
Right.
do this. And then all of a sudden, it's like Tom Cruise. I'm like, no way.
That movie's awesome, but
That
we're not
movie's
talking about
amazing.
Tom.
But yeah, a happening of monumental proportions. I'm a fan. I think it could have been a little bit funnier, but the cast is outstanding. So you really don't really notice how bad. It's not bad, but it's just
How
it's
much-
mediocre.
How much of a dark humor it is.
It's
but
yeah,
That's-
it's dark.
As you-
Yes,
as Eric
for
was saying
sure.
before where you started.
Yes,
It's like the budget they had. Like they just blew it all on the cast, and
Yeah.
they thought that if they just combined so many big names into one movie, that it
The
would be
director is an actress, and her name is skipping my mind.
Oh, Judy
right
Greer.
now. Right.
Right,
Judy
right,
Greer
right.
has directed the
This is
film.
her first movie too.
Yeah, this is her first
wow.
directorial.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great though.
Yeah, I mean, the direction was fine. Everything.
Yeah.
There wasn't a point during the movie where you're like, well, why did that just happen? Or
Yeah.
the editing was good. As a film, it works.
Right.
So.
and I would, if I saw this like on Netflix, I would watch it. you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't like you questioned a lot of the choices they made.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more or less like you stopped. You're like, okay, that seems like a good idea, but they, like whoever was doing it, they should have had like maybe a tinge of a little bit more of a reaction, or
Yeah.
maybe they should have said a line like slightly different.
Right.
Like there was only certain times when that happened.
They
where it's
could
like,
have beefed up the screenplay a little bit, the story. I
Yeah.
think, but
But yeah, for me, just the cast. I thought the cast was great.
Yeah.
Anytime and I was surprised because, like you said, it wasn't a big budget film. And I
Yeah.
was surprised all the big names that are in the movie.
yeah,
You know, I'm sure. I mean, these people like to get paid, obviously.
Right,
And,
right.
Allison Janney's a what's it called, Emmy Award winner.
She's a
and,
TV,
she's a
movie
Mom is a great show.
Yeah,
if you
she's-
watch Mom,
she's doing
great.
great.
Yeah, so she just won an Oscar for Tanya.
Tanya, yeah,
I,
yeah.
Tanya, whatever it's
I,
called. I,
Tanya,
Tanya,
Yeah, and I think this might be her first or second movie since the Oscar win.
Yeah, so I mean, her alone, you would
Right.
think
Yeah.
commands a ton of
Yeah.
money. And
But I don't know much about Bradley Whitford's career. Has he done like a leading role? Because I think he's always like a supporting.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because he's got a presence and he's so funny.
I cannot think of a film where he was the main.
He needs to do like an
character.
Office Space type of movie.
Well, I was about to bring. That's something I was going to bring up. The movie had kind of an Office Space feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, especially the office scenes or whatever. That part I thought that watching the film, like, wow, this is kind of Office Space.
Yeah.
Oh, going to that office scene.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God. I swear to God, like the guy that he has like the slight kind of like tension between like.
Which one? He had like three of them.
Three of them.
Yeah.
the main guy that he had the tension with. I can never remember his name. I was like, because it was just like, this guy is just, he's only known as the.
Oh wait, are you
I'm
talking
trying
about?
not to say it. The idiot that basically just every time he's like, so you know you can't do that. Oh yeah, you can't do this. You can't cross the line. They close off the crates. You got to go all the way around.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You're not talking about the HR guy, Kumali.
No, he was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's always
he was good.
He was good.
He was good. The tension between them was actually perfect.
That
And
was
so
funny.
was his Commons, I guess office. The woman who's sat across from him.
Yeah.
I forget her name too. She's been
Yeah.
in a ton of movies.
Yeah, I think she's like a comedian.
Yeah.
She struck me as a comedian.
Yeah, but again, like she
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
The cast was just incredible. I really
You had all
enjoyed
these
it.
pieces
Yeah.
of the cast, but they needed something to bring it together.
There was not, the thread wasn't there.
Yeah. It's frustrating because you got such a great cast.
Well, you get payoffs from the main characters,
Yeah.
but you don't really know what happens to the other ones.
Right,
That's
like there's a
one.
weird scene with John Cho in the bathroom talking to the kid.
Right.
You know, like mentoring him about bullies and stuff.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
That could have been better too if they expanded on his character.
But then he disappears.
Yeah, it's like what
You don't
happened
know
here?
Right. You have no idea.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
so many good characters in this movie, but there's like very little focus given. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving right along.
Well,
oh yeah, you got one more.
One more thing.
One more.
I think this is the second movie that I've seen with Ron Rickles that I've been like,
Really?
with
Well-
him in it, where like, he was.
What was the other?
Oh, the bane of my existence.
Are you talking
whatever.
about Opening?
Oh yes. Oh.
We reviewed a movie called
Bane.
Opening Night like a year ago.
Yeah, I will never let that one live.
Yeah, it was also a comedy. It starred Topher. It had also had an ensemble cast.
Yeah. Amazing cast. Just.
Yeah, but not as good as this. Yeah.
I can't say the F word.
Gotcha. We are TVG.
Yeah.
But Eric, final thoughts on this?
No, I guess I enjoyed it. I thought I definitely would recommend people watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would necessarily go to the theater to watch it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
would.
Definitely
I would
not.
definitely right. But when it comes on TV
Yeah.
or HBO or if it comes on Netflix or whatever.
I have a feeling it will. A
Yeah,
strong feeling.
I
Yeah.
definitely would recommend it. It's entertaining. It keeps you focused. It kept me focused anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
I know.
Might try to. I'll try to take a second look at it and be like, all right, maybe I was objectively
But
looking at it because I was
it might.
like,
It might get better with a second viewing. I'm hoping.
hoping to.
Yeah.
But no, I would recommend it.
Sweet.
I would.
Cool. Well, it comes out September 21st, so if you guys want to check it out, A Happening of Monumental Proportions.
A week from now.
Yeah. So next up, Dan apparently didn't see this one.
No, because it was on West 56th, and I thought it was going to be closer to my house this morning. So when I woke up this morning at 10, I was like, all right, I'm going to go see it. It's 11:20. I'm like, there's this 11:27 showing. It said it, and it didn't say where. I looked at where it was. I was like, nope, not making that one.
But you tried, and that's what counts.
Yes.
So basically, it's a documentary. It's called Science Fair, and it follows a group of high school students from all across the world who compete in ISEF, the International Science and Engineering Fair, which has 1,700 students competing for Best in Fair, Science Fair winner. And
Yes.
Eric, we actually had the privilege of seeing it at the Metrograph.
Yes.
Awesome theater in the city.
Yes.
What'd you think, Eric?
I went in not expecting to like it. I told you that on the
Yeah,
way. I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know if I'm going to like this film.
Right.
But I was blown away.
Yeah.
It really was an incredible film. It kind of makes you feel worthless afterwards, though, because
Especially looking at it
Right.
at your childhood, right?
Right, like
what was I
because-
doing, wasting my...
but still, like it brings out all this emotion.
These kids are
and-
nuts. Like,
Yes.
they are legitimate scientists. They're engineers. They're like breakthrough science and engineering. Like, there was this German kid who developed a new type of flying wing, like for like aviation, and
Yeah.
these kids trying to find a way to cure or treat the Zika virus
from Brazil. They
yeah,
were from
yeah.
Brazil.
It's like these kids are nuts, and they're only in high school. And
that was the thing. Like you're
Yeah.
sitting there, you're like, wow, these kids are accomplishing so much at such a
Right.
young age, and I mean, that one kid who didn't do well in school, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
a
the
great
sla-
scientist.
You would think he's like a slacker, but
Right.
he's like a genius at coding.
Yeah, he was
It's like-
incredible. Yeah, he just would do things with computers and create.
Yeah, what was the thing? He created an algorithm for Kanye West rap lyrics or something?
Yes, he created an algorithm that can rap like Kanye.
Right.
So
And
he presses the button and you hear it rapping in
Yeah.
the same kind of tone that Kanye would rap.
it's like, how are these
Jesus.
kids? Yeah, like these
Yeah.
kids are insane, and it's actually really comforting
Why
to know.
would you want to sing like Kanye?
That's a good point.
Well, I mean,
No,
he
but
sold
it's
a lot
re-
of records. So.
Yeah.
But the talent and skill that these kids have, it's really nice to know that the future of the world is basically in their hands. Like if,
Yes.
or they could become like Lex Luthor and turn it against us. So that's another thing.
But even the
is
just the scope of it, like the scope of how big it was, I never heard of it before.
You never heard of the film? Yeah.
And I'd never heard of ISEF. I had no
Yeah,
idea
no.
that existed.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Like
it
I don't
really
do
doesn't.
I don't do documentaries often, so but this one spoke to me for some reason. You know, it felt interesting, the topic, the subjects, the kids, and yeah, I don't know, something about it. It was really. Nice.
I definitely. I mean, the best thing about it, well, we're here in New York, and they focus on one of the high schools is Jericho High School, and their teacher, Dr. McCalla, Dr.
Yeah,
McCalla,
McCalla was it?
McCalla,
McCalla.
yeah. She's a character all in her own.
And she was at the Q&A. Actually.
Yeah, she was actually at the premiere when we went to the premiere.
that was
She was
cool.
actually there, and but she's a character in her own. Like when she's on screen, she sucks
She's
up.
great.
Yeah,
she's so sassy.
Yeah, yeah. She's a really strict teacher, and you could tell. But I mean, that's what it takes for these competitions, and yeah, like that was the one character, and the other one, which I'll let you talk about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I love all the kids. They were so different in their own way.
Right.
They're all very quirky, especially that young girl. She was from the United States, and she was so proud of being like the top of her class, and how she wants to present it, and she's so nervous, and she's throwing up, and
And she was one of the younger.
yeah,
ones.
she was like what,
14 or
14.
yeah.
Yeah, but also a little annoying. But
Oh, so
Yeah, I
is
mean,
this the
super-
child that you want to?
yeah, basically.
Supremely confident.
Yeah, a little too confident, but
Yes.
that might suit her in the future.
Right.
We'll see.
Right.
But Dan, I don't want to leave you out. What's your history with science projects, experiments?
Oh, probably bad all around. Mostly bad all around. Cause, I know they had at my high school they didn't have I think they had a science fair. I just never participated because at the time really didn't give a
Yeah.
two craps about the science until like later when I got into college, and I was like, all right, this seems a lot more interesting. But no, there was a good amount of times where the science fairs was basically just, oh, can you make a volcano? Can you kill? Oh, I found 3 different ways you can kill a plant. Which I was very proud of.
300?
3 different ways.
Oh, 3 different. Okay.
And they weren't chlorine based. That was always a good one. Soda will definitely kill your plant. Very quickly.
Soda.
Soda will definitely kill your plant.
All right.
Apparently,
Among other things.
apparently I gave it diabetes and killed it instantly. So
God.
don't give soda to your plants.
Gotcha. All right. And
yeah.
don't give it to humans either, because in the long run it'll kill them.
Slowly kill you.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Slow death.
Plants kill you immediately.
Yeah. All right, guys. So for time, let's move on to our final movie. A little bit more interesting than the previous 2, I'd say. We've got the 4th Predator? Yeah, the 4th Predator. The Predator, not just Predator. The. And
Alien
is it?
versus
We got
Predator.
1, 2.
Two.
This is the 4th. Well, if you don't count Aliens versus Predator.
6.
That's 6. Okay, that's canon, I guess.
6. It's the Requiem. Too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like-
That's
they also-
true.
It was the let's make up for what bad things we did. We'll do it worse.
So basically, this young kid accidentally triggers the Predator group, the Watja Hishkuchen. That's actually the official Predator name. I butchered that, but the Predators come to Earth. They wreak havoc on a small town, and a small group of misfits, mercenary misfits, band
Crazies.
together. Yeah. And they basically have to protect this small suburban town.
Yeah, they're
from
all
annihilation.
military prisoners.
Right, right. Kind of a nod to the original film,
Right.
which is also a ragtag group of military guys.
Right.
But yeah, Dan, what did you think?
I have like mixed emotions because I like it was predictable, very predictable. So I was able to be like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Oh, I know what's going to happen. Oh, I know. There's so many times you could say that before you're like, okay, this is just let's just make sure that I'm getting this right. And I was like, okay, cool, I got that right. But I think like still like the fact that when they banded together and they were kind of like together and they were just not fighting anything, I think that was like the better part of the movies because it was funny as hell. Because like you had them like sitting in the house and they're all trying to like sitting there just watching TV and the wife comes in. It's like, what the hell? Where are they coming from? Who are these people? It's like, oh, I'm this person, this person. They all introduce themselves, and then just, like the one guy who's like a little close.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you guys can stay here and watch TV. It's like, okay, bye. It's like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. This group of guys, I mean, I think they were the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The action sequences were it felt like the Transformers movies a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, I don't know if this movie's on my radar because the only redeeming quality was the cast and the interaction between the guys and
the interaction. I'll give that.
and the young kid who was great.
Yeah.
You know, Jacob Tremblay. So I've seen him in other stuff, but
I think probably the best short-lived cameo of that whole thing was just for the fact that you want to come in and go, "Hi, I'm Gary Busey's son." And then,
right. That was Jake Busey. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was it. That he just says, "Hey," he says his name.
Yeah, I'm Keys.
And that's
Congratulations,
it.
Keys. You're dead.
He was such an integral character in the second movie too.
Yep.
It's like they could have just expanded on that, but this movie is filled with missed opportunities, and it's very disappointing. But Eric, what do you think?
I didn't like it at all.
You had the
just
same
to-
feeling I have for Batman versus
Just
Superman.
to be, well, that I could go on for days with that
me
movie,
too.
but I won't.
Me
So I've discussed it ad nauseum with so many people I can't even begin. But
Well,
no,
maybe we'll have you back for Aquaman, and we'll
I'll definitely do that one.
yeah.
The Predator, I said before to Dan that I'm rarely in a movie theater where I said I can't wait for this movie to end, and that was me in this film. Stiff acting.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just poor direction. Look.
By Shane Black,
Right.
Which was mind-boggling because he's a pretty good director.
Yeah, except for the other movie of his that I hate, Iron Man 3, which I won't go into.
Oh, I also hate that one too.
You know, I actually never saw it, but I hear isn't that the best one though?
No.
I heard it was the best.
It sold it did the best in the box office, but it is not the best. The first one of that series.
So it will win an Oscar for most popular film.
Pretty much.
Right. Not best picture.
Right.
No.
So, I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to critique anything about the actual plot because
There was none.
yeah, like you sit there and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's very predictable.
Very.
Right.
If you saw the original Predator,
Yeah. I rewatched it last night, the first one. Such a great movie. After 31 years, it holds up so well.
right?
They still used like 9% of the lines from the original,
Yeah.
plus some of from the Predator 2 movie.
I only noticed from the first movie. I thought the only reference was
Guess
keys for the second one.
No, they said a couple times.
Did they?
Once they said because they had to go when they were going back and like saying, oh yeah, there was one back in this time and one back in 1990.
Right.
It's like
No, 1997.
1997.
From 1990's point of view.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Thomas Jane's character,
He's
right?
so good. Yeah.
He's good in the film.
didn't even know it was him.
Me neither. Until like halfway, I'm like, is that?
I heard his voice and I'm
Okay.
like, wait a minute, that's Thomas Jane.
Punisher.
Yeah, I'm like that's him. I mean,
Oh, no, he'll
his
never be
face
the
is
Punisher for me.
aged.
Yeah,
his face is aged a
He's
little
like
bit.
in his late 40s now, but
Yeah, he's a little bit like you're looking, you're like,
but he kind of pretty much stole the show.
yeah,
from
he was
Andy.
great. Like
Him and Peele.
And
Yes.
Peele.
Yeah,
yes.
Keegan. Was
Him
it
and-
Michael Keegan Peele? Keegan
Keys.
Michael Key.
Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah.
From Key and Peele.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They two, they were
They
so
had
they were
perfect
great.
chemistry.
Yes.
Oh my God, this
So
is
great.
So,
Yeah, they
so
were
funny.
they were great. Like their scenes, I loved watching.
Yeah, they could
they
do
were
it like
awesome.
They could do a series on them.
And
I could-
Olivia Munn,
She's beautiful,
Yeah.
that's yes.
but I don't
That's-
know.
There was
That's
that
about
one
it.
scene where she was like kind of like laying down, kind of looking at the Predator, going, "Oh God, I saw too much in her body that I
saw
was
too many
like,
bones?
I saw too many bones. I was like, no, I can't do that. That's
It's a little thin.
You went a little too thin
It's a
on that
meal.
one. I could see darkness in your soul part, your soul cavities right
Jesus.
there.
What do you guys think of Boyd Holbrook, the main soldier, the main character in the movie?
He's from Narcos.
Is
I
he?
think he's been on Narcos. That's where
Yeah, he's been
I've
in a
seen
bunch
him
of
before.
different. Yeah, he was a model
little
too.
stiff.
Yeah,
Little
I don't
stiff.
like him. I don't
Yeah.
honestly. I do not like him.
Yeah, he's forgettable.
Yeah,
That's the part.
he's a pretty boy. Like you could put any like a good-looking lead actor in that role.
Right. You never
Yeah.
want to. You never want to go out. At least someone leave a movie and say, "Well, that actor is. I don't remember his name."
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Like
Right. I had to
didn't
look it up
remember him.
after Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was not
Yeah,
a
no,
fan,
he's-
and
he's-
I still can't believe that an actor like Sterling K. Brown read the script and said, "Yes, I want to do this movie."
Like,
Yeah.
what is this guy doing in here? Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And
Against type.
I don't want to. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. I'll just
Yeah.
keep it.
You can
I'll
hint
keep-
at it.
Oh, is he?
Do we know what happens to him?
He kind of just disappeared. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but maybe it is.
Was that the guy who was?
You see him
Where'd
in
he
the
go?
in the
Where's
melee.
my boss? It was like,
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
You see him in the melee, and then
He's like such an integral part of the story too. It's like it was
Oh wait, it was the guy that was like the jerk the whole time.
the
right?
military,
Yes.
the head of
Oh, no,
the.
you definitely see what happens to him, but he does it in the dumbest way in the possible. He was like, really? That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
They called his name out. He turns. He shot himself in the face.
Did he?
Yeah. Wait, am I talking about the wrong guy?
You
Wait,
might be
hold
talking about the wrong guy. I don't
Yeah.
think he shot him. No.
no, you see him.
They're in the forest.
You see
Yeah.
him fighting, but then
Right.
you don't see him again.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the other guy. Yeah, he disappears.
Yeah.
You sort of just spoiled someone else, but you didn't say the name, so
Well, I don't
Yeah.
remember the name.
that's a good
the
thing.
problem.
So
That's
it's sort of a
fine.
half spoiler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's fine. It's not.
But it's not a secret to Fair Couture that people die in this
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The body count is high in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the CGI was a little off.
I think it was a little overdone in my taste.
Yes, it was
Like-
a little off and a little like when certain two characters get to the end of their reign in the movie.
Yeah.
The CGI was a little off.
Yes.
When the predator was in the some of the trees and kind of they looked up at him, it was kind of like that does not look anything close to being real.
Yeah.
That looks.
See, that's the great thing about the
so
first,
bad.
the first, and I think the second movie too. It's a lot of practical effects, not a lot of CGI.
And also, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme in the suit.
No, it's not. Thank God. No, it was Kevin Peter Hall who did the first two. He's like 7'1".
Yeah.
He was perfect. Like, and that suit by Stan Winston, or was it
Yeah,
Rick Baker? No, Stan Winston. He did the creature effects. and
Right. I mean,
So great.
I understand the reliance on CGI nowadays
Yeah.
because we have the technology and you could do
Yeah.
so many more things. But there's something to be said about the actual
Yeah.
costume and
Yeah.
the actual person doing the.
That's why
there's-
sci-fi from the '80s is that's my favorite genre.
Yeah.
You
I
can't go
mean,
wrong.
Yep.
It was practical. It left you with enough disbelief that you can get away with like, okay, that felt like it was.
Even
real.
the blood looks different.
Yep.
Like
blood-
even the blood
Yeah.
in the
But
original
now-
movie, it looks like grainy, and
Yeah.
now it just looks like splashy. And
Yeah, well,
Looks like bright green.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like this one scene. It lingers in my mind from the original RoboCop. The scene with Kinney when he gets killed by that in the boardroom by that giant
Oh, yeah.
robot Ed 209, I think it was.
Yeah.
The squibs and just the way that they shot that.
Yeah.
Literally was really a great
Except
scene.
when after the end when they threw Dick Jones out the window and his arms were like, yeah, they're all here. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
"Ugh, that's bad."
but the '80s, like that's nostalgia for me. Like I
Yeah.
remember those films.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Being a kid watching those films, I remember
Yeah.
them. So
It's great. It's
Right.
total
Absolutely.
nostalgia
Right.
factor there.
So good.
The first rated R movie I saw, I was 6 years old. It was Terminator 2. And that was memorable.
yeah, that was
was
yes.
scarring.
As
Yeah.
a 6-year-old, I think that would
Yeah,
be
no,
quite
but
memorable.
it was good. Thanks, Mom.
Memorable scarring. Oh, that's about the same.
Yeah.
I think Rambo.
Which the Rambo 2?
Yeah, First Blood
First
Part
Blood
2.
Super 2.
Yeah, I think that's the first R-rated movie I remember watching.
Nice.
Was
That's a good
Rambo.
one.
Don't remember what the first R-rated movie
No.
I watched. I've seen way too many things. I think probably the worst at that age was like a PG-13, and they said shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
They said shit in Ghostbusters too.
that's the one I saw.
I think they said it in the first one too.
Oh no, they say a lot more in
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah, the first one is.
First one, they've
Classic.
made sure they use that PG rating till it's key.
Definitely. All right, guys. So we got like a minute left. Is there anything you want to plug? Any websites or stuff coming up?
Well,
Dan?
my usual bull. Check me out on Facebook, ShaggyGB. Check me out on Instagram, which I still have no idea why the hell I have 600 followers. Shaggy1331. Post never, so you're gonna probably see 2 pictures next week or something like that. When people start posting shit, and there we go. I'm starting up a YouTube channel. I haven't gotten the name yet, so I'm probably gonna have like Randall, Eric, if you want to come on.
Hey.
I'm gonna have some. It's a whole like kind of a revolutionary idea that I have where it's gonna be gaming, but at the same time sketches, this, that, and all these little fun things that are gonna be fun, but at the same time it's gonna be like it's gonna be editing and this and that. And actually, Joseph Amadalia, who actually check out Broken Hearted on Facebook. He's gonna be the editor, so he's gonna be my first guinea pig to my game that I got. The segment I have that's gonna be pretty fun because I know the games. Whoever is playing that game doesn't know the games.
All right.
So it's basically just you play. I'll sit in the back and I'll
make snarky comments.
I'll make snarky comments and try to guide you as best I can.
Like
Do it.
Science Theater.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to hear the name for that.
It's process working.
Good. Eric, anything you want to plug?
First, you can follow me on Twitter at FinalE33. You can also find my movie review work or some of my other articles on BatmanOnFilm.com.
Awesome.
I do a lot of work for them over there. I actually recorded a podcast. Yesterday was Batman Day, and I recorded.
Oh my God! How did we miss that?
Yes,
Okay.
I recorded a podcast
You
for
missed it.
Batman
We
Day
didn't.
yesterday with them. So
Awesome.
definitely check me out over there.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on today. This was great.
Thanks for having me.
Have you again anytime. Yeah, you're always welcome. Eric,
right,
Dan, you know you are.
I'm always welcome. I just got to make sure I don't say any of the F-U-C-K words.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate your.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, we're going to take a short break with a word from our sponsor, Magnitude Jewelry, followed by an interview I did with film composer Brian Tyler. Check it out, guys.
So thanks again for taking the time.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a thrill. You're a great composer. I'm glad. You're blockbuster after blockbuster. You're doing really, really well.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah. I'm curious though. How do you pick your projects?
You know, it's evolved over time. Originally, I just wanted to do a movie, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So my music got placed in a movie, and I just was like, okay, then it's kind of time went by, you know, things changed. I started doing independent films, and then I started, you know, really as one after another kind of came out, then other directors and producers would hear those movies, and then eventually I kind of made my way into doing studio films. And I kind of longed for the ride at a point there. Then I really got into reading scripts and looking at projects way ahead of time. So it's gone completely the other way. So now I select a movie quite really at the script phase. If there's a project that I like, or if there's something that sounds interesting to me that I could do some interesting music with, and it's a director that I vibe with, then that's something I want to do. But it does get hard. There's a lot of guesswork involved and estimating what might turn out great, you know, especially early on, because typically I get, you know, asked quite in advance now, quite far. So sometimes the the movie hasn't even been shot yet.
Okay. Well, you know what? The first time I remember hearing your music, I think it was for Children of Dune.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And Summon the Worms was actually used in the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull trailer.
Yep.
And it totally elevated that trailer. Like it brought it up. Yeah, it was just a beautifully, beautifully placed. I'm curious though, who are some of your musical influences?
I mean, speaking of Indiana Jones, definitely John Williams. You know, what really got me interested in film music. You know, everything from Raiders and E.T. and Star Wars and you name it. I just was very moved by, you know, the complexity of what he wrote and the melodies and how memorable these themes were. Super inspirational. But at the same time, in terms of film composers, I loved Bernard Herrmann very early on, was one of my favorites, and James Horner and Hans and Vangelis, and you know, a big fan of all sorts of kinds of music. I loved, you know, everything from Pink Floyd to Rage Against the Machine and Nine Inch Nails, and loved hip hop, and loved a lot of kind of modern classical composers like John Adams and Krzysztof Penderecki and then jazz artists, Chick Corea and Thelonious, and then even the, you know, Count Basie and the older school stuff. So I was all over the map in terms of what I was listening to, I guess, growing up. So that infused itself, you know, all of those ingredients kind of, you know, blended in a way stylistically. So I would, as a kid, I would be fascinated by music, and the thing I would need to do is deconstruct how it was written. That's what I loved to do. So I would do everything from you know, deconstructing, you know, a Rush song, or deconstructing something, you know, by Tiomkin or Bernard Herrmann, you know, even you know, as a pianist, I loved listening to Rachmaninoff, and I loved playing by ear and listening to things deconstructing. So those artists all influenced me, and even the playing, like why I used a lot of rhythmic chordal lower piano is because of Tori Amos, you know. So it would be hard to kind of boil it down to just a few, which you know, it's thousands, you know.
Right.
Thousands of artists.
Now, speaking of artists, I know you have a little bit of a history with the late, great Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah, big time.
I know that some of your scores kind of overlapped at one point.
Many, yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your history, your relationship with the maestro.
Yeah, you know, Jerry and John Williams and Jerry Goldsmith, I was very lucky to know early on in my career, and they both helped me out quite a lot. And, you know, John is the reason, you know, I wouldn't be composing today. I mean, you know, we have the same agent, and we have the same, you know, there's been a lot of crossover, and he's been a great help, and mentor, and an amazing person. Jerry as well, and in the sense that, you know, I met Jerry pretty early on, and was shocked that, you know, that there was kind of an interest in what I was doing, and there was something about it that I guess led me to do movies that either Jerry had written, like a movie franchise where Jerry wrote the original movie, for instance. Okay, so I scored. It's crazy how many times this happened. So I, of course, scored Rambo, and I took, you know, that franchise after he passed away, and he did, of course, the original Rambo, First Blood.
Right. All three of them.
All three of them, which are great scores, and then I did Aliens versus Predator. Well, he did the original Alien, and then I did the 100th year anniversary of the Universal Films logo that you hear before every movie. He originally wrote that, and then I did a new version of it, which you now hear to this day.
Right.
And then of course he did The Mummy, and I just did The Mummy, and I mean it goes, and of course he did original Star Trek, and I did Star Trek Enterprise, and there's a lot of like these tie-in things. It's very
Game of Their Lives.
Yeah, I think there was something about. I mean, even beyond the Wild one, which was Timeline, of him originally scoring Timeline, and then I ended up ultimately scoring Timeline.
His final score. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it was one of those things that I was very adamant that I was such a fan that I remember signing a petition of some sort to bring Jerry back on the movie. It was an online thing. And then I got the call to actually score it, which was kind of strange. I was stepping in such big shoes, Yeah. And I just wanted to kind of to honor his legacy and do something that would be like a kind of a early 1970s, late 1960s kind of Jerry Goldsmith style score. It's just cool. We had a nice conversation. I remember our last conversation was, I believe it was it was like a get together for people that were associated with Star Trek.
Okay.
It was right at the Academy by the Kodak Theater. Anyway, so I think when Sylvester Stallone was looking for someone to take over the Rambo, franchise, he heard something in my music that he felt was kind of Jerry Goldsmithy or something, and the way I use brass is what he said especially, and because I'm heavy into brass, and a lot of the scores at the time would use brass as pads and would use them as leads and kind of have very long chords, and I wrote moving melodies kind of against the grain of what was trending at the time, and Sly really loved that, and so he called me in, and that's kind of how that happened. So I don't know. I'm not sure. It's one of those interesting things. I idolize Jerry like so much, and so it's anytime I can be at all associated with him, it's obviously an honor.
Now, did he write music for Game of Their Lives?
Oh, you're talking about Greatest Game.
Greatest Game, right? Yeah.
Greatest Game ever played. No, he didn't.
Right.
It's interesting. I wrote that whole score. The thing about Jerry. There's an example of a score that's very Jerry-ish. And in the way that I think he was telegraphing in some of his scores, Aaron Copland and that kind of influence.
Right.
Which is also an influence of me. So when you hear scores like that's kind of like that Americana thing, And what I love about Jerry is that he never was this one thing. He could do the Americana thing.
Yeah.
He could do avant-garde music. He could do,
That's why I actually prefer him a little bit over John Williams because he has a little more variety in his
the range.
And the genres.
Yeah, it is really an amazing.
And the instrumentation too.
Yeah, and the way, and clearly, if you listen to the score for The Hunted, his influence in terms of what I learned from him listening to scores like Planet of the Apes and whatnot, and kind of very avant-garde use of percussion. Right. That's I keyed off of that for sure. I mean, all these great composers. It's kind of like what Stephen Hawking said about physicists, is that we all stand on the shoulders of giants, and he wrote a book called Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, which is a very cool book, and it's basically how those who came before you paved the way for you to do what you can do, and you just kind of continue the tradition while also striving to make your own mark and use your own voice and develop your own style, which I've tried to, I think it just invariably happens.
Yeah. Now, you obviously collaborate very well with other composers. Another favorite of mine is Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
You worked with him on the second Avengers. What was it like working with Danny?
I mean, Danny, again, there's another one that I, as a kid just growing up listening to Danny, everything from his great scores, his early scores with Tim Burton, Pee-wee's and Batman. But, I saw Oingo Boingo live.
Nice.
And I loved all of his musicals. And so, yeah, and one of my favorite scores, if not my favorite, is actually a small score called The Simple Plan that he wrote.
Sam Raimi,
Yeah, the Sam Raimi thing. And it was just, I loved the idea of him also kind of doing what I like to do, but also Bernard Herrmann would do very strange ensembles like, okay, I'm going to have 8 alto flutes and not use the standard instrumentation and that's what, you know, what that score, it's so haunting and amazing. The electric bass and alto flutes and banjo and, you know, whatnot. So when it came to Avengers, you know, I mean, I kind of wish he was on earlier, you know, I mean, you know, it was like the movie, there was so much going on with the movie, and there's multiple versions of the movie at the very last, and so he.
You guys were like tag teaming it, right?
Yeah, you know, yeah, exactly. We tried to figure out, okay, who's going to do this scene and who's going to do this, but you know, the movie was changing at the end, and I mean, there's like a lot of amazing parts of the movie that no one will ever see. Actually, it's just, you know, I think with a movie that epic, when you keep shooting, you can have a lot of material, and they want, you know, of course, they want to cover it all. And so he was kind of there at the very end, and so we were, you know, okay, we're going to record at Abbey Road. We'll do this, and we pretty much kept it all organized. There's a couple things, like I remember I did. It's actually the Vision theme that I wrote, and I think he did it as well on accident. And it's like, and since I was, you know, I was like the original main, you know, composer on earlier on, you know, I would have loved to see even more, like, you know, Danny, kind of like, you know, working as a band. But I did get my chance to kind of have that in a sense, where I felt like, cool, you know, this is great. I got to be kind of, you know, in a kind of, it's almost like being in a band or writing a symphony together or, you know, someone that you idolize. And even though, you know, there wasn't, you know, as much volume maybe as it would have been. If we would have started from the beginning, it would have been maybe more 50-50, you know what I mean? But so at the end, you know, but it's still, I thought it worked really well, and I loved everything they did and the stuff we did together, and I think it was like a really cool merging of styles too.
Nice. Do you think you'll work with him again?
Oh yeah, I'd love to work with him again. I'd love to do. I actually did at one point. There was we did a live thing where it was me, Danny, Hans, and Giacchino. We did a thing that was really cool. And it was kind of before the recent surge of film score concerts came about. So it'd be fun to do something live. It'd be fun to do a project. I would love to do, you know, a movie or even do like some original you know, a work away from a movie. Look, I would do anything with that guy. So.
Nice. Well, you know what? I actually did see Zimmer play last year at Radio City in Manhattan, New York City.
Sure.
And it was one of the greatest nights of my life. It was so great seeing him perform just even a simple score like Madagascar live. It was just
I thought too. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we kind of share a similarity in our shows, and Hans is also someone that I knew very early on in my career, and I never was a part of the remote control group, but I always, look, you know, his music really moves me, and always did, and you know, he's so positive and such a, like, you know, one of the greatest also high concept composers, you know, and you know, his show is really awesome. I mean, right now as we speak, we're creating the new show, which the first show will be in London in a month of my concert series.
Oh, cool!
And it's got that kind of really epic narrative, take you on a journey kind of thing, as opposed to like kind of it's not really a classical format where you just kind of do one piece and then do another piece. This really has a kind of a whole storyline and a whole, and kind of takes you into the movies that I've scored, but it's just very hard to narrow down.
Okay. When is this? Tell us a little bit about the show.
So this is the Philharmonia of London.
Okay.
It's at Royal Festival Hall in London, and that is on October 25th. It's coming right up. It's going to be full orchestra, choir, big old percussion section, a band, and a big band.
Nice.
So it's like 1,000 people on stage, I guess.
That's awesome.
And lighting and the whole thing. So we're going to do everything from, Thor and the kind of Iron Man stuff to Crazy Rich Asians to Yellowstone to doing Children of Dune, doing Now You See Me, Expendables, Battle LA, you name it. We're doing, and there's different soloists that are going to sing and play. And a lot of the premieres, doing things like either more recent things like Power Rangers, but then going back into the catalog, Eagle Eye and Bubba Hotep and Greatest Game Ever Played. And
awesome.
Anyway, so but yeah, certainly it'll be the first time also incorporating some of the big band music from Crazy Rich Asians into a show that also has Avengers. We're going to be doing Avengers as well.
Is it just in London?
Well, it's going to be more than that, but that is the first one, and that's the one that's announced right now, but we're planning on going all over the place with it.
Please come to New York.
Absolutely. So New York is always that's right there on the list.
Nice.
And it's wild. It's like a 2-hour concert, just wild. If you love the Hans one, this is definitely up your alley.
Awesome. Well, Brian, I want to thank you so much today for your time. This has been great.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in New York, we have our studio. It's in Massapequa. It's in Long Island. Maybe come down for an in-person interview.
That'll be fun. Let's do that before the next when we do the New York concert.
Sounds good. And do I call you Maestro, or how does this work?
Just call me Brian.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks so much.
And guys, that's our show for this week, Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger. I want to thank my guests again, Eric Holtzman and Dan Shaggy GP. You okay there?
Yeah, I said I was going to do it.
Well, there you go. I appreciate it. And so we got some events coming up from our sponsor, Magnitude. We've got Saturday, September 22nd to the 23rd, the Trinity Health Conference, which is in Schaumburg Center, Chicago. Also on Sunday, September 30th, the Over 50 Fair, 10 o'clock to 4 p.m. in Huntington, Hilton, Long Island. And finally, on Friday, October 26th through Sunday the 28th, the New Life Expo at the New Yorker Hotel in New York City. We hope to see you guys there. Again, I want to thank you guys. This has been great. And come on anytime. You're always welcome.
Except for me.
Yes. Eric, some final thoughts?
No, thank you for having me. Thanks for taking me to the premiere the other night.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Really, that was great.
And all the movies we discussed today, 2 out of the 3, I say go see. Don't bother with The Predator.
Yeah. Skip.
Yeah,
skip
I would. Thumbs down on that one.
Thumbs down on The Predator.
Probably, two of the 2 movies I saw pretty much don't go see.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Well, we covered a wide spectrum this week, I think.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we'll see you next week at Strong Island TV. I've been your host again, Randy Unger, and this is Under the Radar. Thanks for watching, guys.
Live from Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, it's Under the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Under the Radar is all new next week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with more movie reviews and interviews on Strong Island Radio and Television. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.